So those memories, I mean, memories from childhood, memories from my family with my cousins. I mean, we are a tight family, and that also showed up throughout the pandemic, because we just all came together on Zoom and supported one another. And the memories are what carried me throughout these last. I think it's actually 8 months, and you'll find that as I'm talking, I'll be correcting myself because of some cognitive difficulties that I'm healing from. So those were good memories. Good memories in high school. Growing up in Brooklyn. I that's just like a whole. That could just be like a whole video in itself in terms of good memories with friends and family and community. And then going off to college. So much fun. So much fun. I mean, I worked really, really, really hard, and I partied hard too. So just a lot of fun and a lot of hard work. Then there was a graduate school, and graduate school was in New York City, and undergrad I was at SUNY Buffalo. Um, Huge, huge university, but we had brown people, black people of the African diaspora. We had community there, and so that made that whole process that much easier. Um, so grad school was really serious. Working while I'm in graduate school and in New York City, I'm loving it and making sure that my fashion was on point because I'm back home, I'm back in the city, I'm not in Buffalo anymore. Um, I was going through some fashion transitions while I was in SUNY Buffalo as well. Went through a phase where I was dressing in all black, and then I went through a phase where I was dressing in all kind of crazy colors. Just really, really enjoying myself. So while I was in graduate school, I got married, and we had two children. I graduated from graduate school, and then we had two beautiful baby boys, and started out in an apartment, and then ended up in what I would like to call our mini mansion in New Jersey, and life was just great. Okay. So just all that's where I started getting into all of the outdoors. It wasn't in Buffalo. I wasn't skiing while I was undergrad. I started skiing as an adult. Started martial arts as an adult later on, after my divorce, and then there was the kayaking, and just did a lot of camping in really extreme temperatures before BC and after children. BC, before children, and that was very exciting. To have to really keep a fire going, to stay warm in below zero temperatures, and just camping and like sleeping on a sleeping bag. Now camping and glamping have become so luxurious now, but back then we were literally pitching a tent and making the food outside and making sure that the food was secured, and shaking down the boys and any other family members, kids that came, to make sure that no one had any food, because we didn't want to have any bear trying to come into the tent. Camping in Pennsylvania, Massachusetts, and seeing bear, like just seeing bear, like I want to say 20 feet away from you, and cubs and all of that. So, life has always just been really, really good for me when I look back. Of course, when I was a teenager, I was stressing about stuff, and college, and yeah, I'm stressing. But when I look back on my life, life was just great. I have a really, really great relationship with my biological sister, and then I have a first cousin who I call my sister, and our families are just, everybody, we just, like I said, really, really tight. So, other experiences that were really good for me was, just traveling like at least four times a year. Like when I got my first real job out of college, and they said I had 4 weeks vacation, it meant to me 4 weeks of traveling. And so That's what I've always done, just at least 4 weeks of traveling um, every year, every year. So I could go on and on and on, about my life, but the one thing that I really want to say is that I was very, very, um, physically active and very in with very rigorous type of sports and very rigorous energy. People would describe me as being in beast mode. I'm a very competitive person when it comes to outdoor type of things. And so during the pandemic, I was riding my bike a lot. I got up to 30 miles and 32 miles, and this is on a mountain bike that is older than my son, who is 25. My oldest son was 25. So, no, I don't have any disc brakes and whatever else comes with these new bikes. And my bike is heavy. And I'm riding off road. So, when I do an off road ride, it's that much more rigorous than somebody that's like, let's say, on a hybrid. Okay. And I love to brag about that because I can kill a hill, but the people on the hybrids, I don't know, they could never keep up with me. At least the people that I rode with, I just felt like it was more. It's not that they couldn't keep up with me, but it just seemed to be more challenging to them because ultimately we all ended up riding together. But I would love getting to those hills because I knew that I could kill it because I've just been riding on this monster, for years. And then like, I don't know, decades ago I started spinning, so I have my spinning bike. So despite the fact that I describe myself as a big girl, I'm just very active, and able to carry my weight when it comes to sports and things like that. So fast forwarding, I got a really good job after graduate school, and then another good job and really great mentors, and I'm just loving the work that I do. I love working with teenagers and young adults, just loving it, loving it, loving it. And then once the boys went off to college, and I think even before that, they went to live with their dad, for some years while they were in high school. I had all of this free time on my hands. And I just have a lot of energy. Like, really, I had a lot of energy. So I decided to, get a part-time job. I haven't had a part-time job as an adult ever because I didn't need to. I was able to stay home when the boys were little and be with them and do the whole, house mom thing, stay at home mom thing, and just didn't ever need to do any type of part-time work. So anyway, I got this job at Bath and Body Works, and I mean, I was just loving it. It's just really hilarious. I'm just like loving this job, and from there, I started owning my own businesses. I started building these businesses. I had a business assisting women with intimacy. Another business where I was taking people out during the pandemic and teaching them, how to enjoy nature through hiking, kayaking, skiing. No, no, I did not do skiing. I did not do skiing with your tour because I would have had to wear the mask. So, with COVID and everything, I was one of those people that really became a recluse. I mean, I stayed in the house. I was very, very careful. I still have my groceries delivered to this day. I didn't go to any social events. I missed a lot of family events during like the second and the third year of COVID. I was just forwarding gifts and getting really creative to let people know that I'm still here and I love you and I got you, and I'm here for you. But I just was not leaving the house. I just was just being very, very careful about catching COVID, and I'll get into that a little bit later. But like I said, I'm just trying to give you a picture, a really good picture of how life was for me before COVID. So then there was, so now we're up to two businesses. Okay, so that was your tour. And then during COVID, I started another business, teaching women self defense and firearm safety and information. And providing women with the tools that they need, I guess you would call them weapons, to be safe. There was just a lot of civil unrest going on in the country, and I was on this Zoom one day, and this woman was teaching about self defense, and I said, okay, yeah, that's something that I can do, maybe a way that I could give back. Because throughout COVID, it was all about how could I give back from my dining room table, okay, other than just providing money. Because I had, provided a lot of people with a lot of money that really didn't have, and I would, when I would get these huge deliveries of groceries, I would, break it down, and I knew of some friends that could probably benefit from them, so I would just drop it off at their door, come back home. And I'm laughing because that's literally how I did it. I didn't want to see them or anything. I just let them know, hey, I left something at your door, and I get back in the house. Um, so giving back during COVID was really important to me, and I was able to do that through this other business that I could do on Zoom, teaching about the self defense. And then, even before COVID, I just always had so many jobs. I mean, maybe it's the Caribbean in me. I mean, I just had always had like 6, 7 jobs, man. So, it was like, I started an after school program, a violence prevention program at the district that I work for. And I'm sure that there are jobs that I'm not remembering to mention right now, but don't worry, I'll mention them to you. So always had quite a few jobs, just a lot of energy, and I was able to do all of that because other than my full time job, my career, I could adjust the timing of everything else, all of these other things that I'm doing with and for people. Um, and so, also before COVID, I was also a volunteer for a women's network named SOULAS. Just a really, really, really fabulous. I don't want to use the word fabulous. I want to say a really good support for women to really help them to be who they are meant to be and to really carry out whatever it is that they are meant to carry out in life. So I asked them if I could volunteer. They offered to pay, but I said no, no. I want to have some really good volunteer items on my CV. So I've been volunteering for them and as an IT person. So I just have a lot of energy, and I had a lot of energy, and I had a lot of skill sets that I could offer to people, and that it all just helped. I have the energy. I could use the money. The boys were, excuse me, my young men. They're getting it together in college and living on their own and stuff like that, in medical school and all of this. So the money was good, but it really it's never about the money for me. And anybody that has had any part in any of my businesses will tell you, because I give more. I mean, if there's any money to be made, I'm just giving so much to people that need that. I'm just doing it because that's what I love to do, and that's what's coming from my heart. All right, so now here comes COVID, and I am so careful. And I went ahead and got the shot, and because I knew I was going into an old building, into this school district, and with all of my angels, and I really wanted to be protected because I have pre-existing conditions. And my doctor and my ex-husband, who is a surgeon, and my son, the medical school, and all of the people in my family, my sister, nurse, well, she's in administration now, my other mother, again, nurse practitioner, and she's retired now, but it's like all of these medical people are telling me, be careful. So I did. My pre-existing conditions would be considered obesity, would be considered hypertension, and also I have the BRCA gene. So very, very careful. Long and behold, January of 2023, I get COVID, and it was bad. I don't know if y'all saw that video when that little boy went. It was real bad. um, but yeah, I mean, I had talked to other people, and I had heard all of the stories, and which made me be more careful. People always accuse me of being fearful. No, I was being careful because I was told by my doctor, you be very careful. Try your best not to catch COVID. Okay. So here we are, year 3 with this COVID, January 2023. I don't know, maybe we're in year 4. I catch COVID bad. Okay. Every possible worst symptom that's out there, I had it for that week. The week before I caught COVID, I knew that something wasn't right. There was something foreign occurring to me that I just couldn't identify. Okay, so in addition to the pre-existing conditions, I've also had a long history with depression and anxiety. So I'm saying to my colleague, something's not right. Like, I just can't concentrate. I don't know what's going on. I just can't concentrate. I'm sitting at my desk and I'm just nothing's happening. Nothing. So I'm just sitting there. Like, this is going on for a couple of days, and then that weekend I felt bad, so I took the test, and okay, I'm positive. Now the order of things might be a little off because I'm not looking at my log. I keep a log of everything. Okay, I'm just like extremely organized, but I'm just telling you the way that my brain is remembering it now. So, I get sick. I can barely walk. The whole story. I can barely walk to the bathroom, to the kitchen. I made, I set it up so I could live on the first floor of my house, and I could barely walk to the. I got to make it to the kitchen sink, and I got to make it to the bathroom. It's like a whole thing. I got to make it back, and I'm out of breath, and I'm just tired, and I'm sleeping, and there's all of this mucus. Okay, I don't eat dairy. I stopped eating dairy during the pandemic. I'm like, where the heck is all this mucus come? I mean, mucus like you wouldn't believe. It was crazy. Sleeping, being delirious. A few times I'm talking to my sister and I turn to look at her and she's not there. I'm talking to a teacher that I work with. I turn to look. She's not there. It's like, Lorri, who are you talking to? So, you know the laundry list of symptoms for COVID. So I'm not going to list all of that, but I'm just saying that when I had it, it was really bad. Next week, I'm thinking I'm good. I'm cured. I'm going to go to work, and I'm getting dressed and everything. Get downstairs, and I sit on that sofa. All the decades that I've been working, that has never happened. I sit on that sofa, and I'm just so exhausted. Okay, so I rest. Let the job know I'm going to be late. Text the team. I get to work, and again, I cannot concentrate. Something's wrong, something's off. I'm extremely exhausted. So now, going back to the doctor. And then it's like I started getting sick again. Every time, I'm either going to work or going to the doctor. That was just a crazy week. I try my best to go to work, and then a few hours after that, I'm in my doctor's office or I'm back home in bed. I'm like, something's not right. Something's just not right. Okay, so I'm not getting better. So they give me the Paxlovid, and the Paxlovid might have come the week before. I don't know, but they gave me the Paxlovid and the what you call it, the prednisone, which I messed that up because I wasn't thinking correctly, so that got all messed up. Everything was just a big confusion, despite me taking notes. Okay, so a month goes by, and I've just had enough of this not being able to breathe, just being so exhausted, the heart racing, the heaviness on my chest, these pains in the torso, like all these kind of things that have never happened before. Not even when I was sick with COVID. Now I'm getting more symptoms. These tingling things going on in my arms. I don't know if I just mentioned to you my joints and the knees and the shoulders and the wrists and the ankle, and just a whole new laundry list of symptoms. So I'm like, like what the heck is going on? So, I dealt with that for a few weeks. I'm staying home. The doctor's writing notes. I'm getting them to to HR. Technology. Just send the thing, take a picture, send it, right? So after I couldn't take all of that anymore, I go to the emergency room. I just couldn't take it. That day I was at the cardiologist, then I ended up at urgent care, and urgent care sent me to the emergency room. I said to myself, you know what? Let me look up the symptoms for long COVID. My son was there, the youngest one, the medical student. And I said, oh my goodness, look at this list. This is all me. So he said, yeah, that's what long COVID is. But, I never read up on it. I'm just thinking I'm going to get better. I'm going to snap out of this. And I'm looking at, and I'm like, wow, like this is crazy. Okay. So my primary care physician, great guy, Dr. Douglas Ashinsky, great doctor. He refers me to this long COVID specialist. Now, mind you, I have to wait a month before I see her. It's like throughout this process, it's always like a month to see somebody. I guess everything's all still all backed up, and so everybody's all booked up. But I'm an emergency, so I can't be waiting a month to see all of these doctors. So I'm sharing with the doctor these symptoms. I have heightened hearing. Okay, now I said to my son, I hear things. I should not have said that to him because now, I'm delirious and I'm hallucinating all the time. No, what it is I have heightened hearing. So when I run the washing machine, the dishwasher, the dryer, I'm hearing these metals. They're like just going through my body. Now, the laundry room is about 20 feet from the room that I'm sitting in. It's a good distance. But the sounds of those metals, oh my goodness, it was just so uncomfortable and so unbearable. I would have to go outside at times or go upstairs and close the door. And then I was hearing things in music that I wasn't hearing before, instruments and sounds and things like that. I listen to a lot of music. I come from a very musical family. My dad, he's famous, big, big, big in the 70s, BT Express. Shout out to BT. And so I'm like, wait a minute, I never heard that in this song. I never heard that in this song. And this is without headphones, because when you put headphones on, you're going to hear instruments and sounds and things that you didn't hear before. But this is without headphones. I'm just chilling, listening to some music, and I'm hearing it, hearing all of these different instruments and things that I hadn't heard before. So the long COVID specialist, I was so glad when I got to see her. She explained that that was an oversensory issue, and moving forward that I needed to keep earbuds on me because, not is it earbuds? Earplugs, because that would make me feel more comfortable, and that I didn't ever want to be in an uncomfortable situation by not having them. Okay. So good. I'm glad. Like because before her, I had seen a pulmonologist, the primary several times, cardiologist, several times, and no one could tell me anything about what was happening with me. Finally, I met with Dr. Shah, Anoki Shah. Okay. Finally, my girlfriend drove me to Livingston, New Jersey, and it was like an hour session. My other mom was on the phone, asking all of the medical questions and about supplements that I could be taking and things like that. what a process. Anyway, I'm getting lost in my mind trying to stay on track here because I normally have an outline when I'm going to do something like this. I'm just off the cuff. I'm just like live right now. Okay. So this doctor is able to finally hear me and understand everything that I'm going through, and it was just great. Fine, because it's just frustrating when other doctors say to you, "I'm really sorry, but I don't know," and so, we're going to refer you on to the next person. And the other thing that was frustrating, but also I was grateful for, was that all of the tests kept coming back negative. Everything always came back negative. Even though I'm in their office and I can't breathe and I'm huffing and puffing, they could see that I was in distress. But the EKG, the x-rays of the chest, and all of this blood work, I've never given so much blood work in all of my life. Everything was negative. The only thing that they could see was, the blood pressure. My blood pressure had gone up like a lot. The medications that I had been taking weren't working. So I had to be put on a third medication, which to this day, 8 months later, we're still having problems with that bottom number. Okay. So it was good to see finally. It was like, when I went to office and She could just have, like, really explain to me what was happening with my body. It's like, thank you, Lord. I said to this doctor, when do you think I'll be better? A few weeks, a month. She said, oh, in about a year. I said, excuse me? In about a year. She said, you'll start to get better, but if you overexert yourself, you'll get sick again. Mm, mm, mm. So then, it was like the balloon had deflated. What do you mean a year? A year of this? All right, let me catch my breath. So, I left there hearing a year. And, you know, like I said, good memories, spirituality, a good support system are the reasons why I have this smile on my face right now. Okay? I don't know how I look to you guys, but I'm tired. I'm really, really tired. And I don't mean it, how people say they're tired and they're sick and tired. No, I don't mean that. I mean like fatigued and exhausted as I'm doing this video right now. I'm really tired. So, I just kept going to the doctor's appointments, and thank goodness, parents coming out and bringing me my favorite things to eat, and I'm breaking down things that I could put in the freezer for those days where I went months without being able to cook. And I remember both sisters telling me to, keep a stool in the kitchen, and just take breaks. Months without cooking because I just couldn't do it. Finally, I remember, cooking that first meal and taking breaks. Everything involves a lot of breaks, okay? I don't, know if you know what it's like for a black woman that has a lot of hair. This is my hair and it's not straightened, and these are 3 braids back here, not 1, 3. Okay, so it's a lot. Okay, so it's a lot for me to wash my hair. So that would take like 2.5 to 3 hours to wash my hair because I had to take breaks. I had to sit down. So after so many weeks of not, washing my hair, I just had to wash my hair. So I kept keep going to the doctor's appointments and everything. And, in my last appointment with the long COVID specialist, Dr. Shah, I said, when I first met with you, you said a year. I really thought you were exaggerating. I really, really thought you were exaggerating. And by the way, how do you even know I'm sick? Because everything is coming back negative, and I am still having all of these symptoms. She said, I see it in your cells. So that kind of broke my heart. Just like another thing with my body, right? She said, but you know what? You're not just going to fall out and die. You're going to be okay. Okay, so the balloon got inflated again. Okay, see the smile, right? I'm glad that she said that because I don't know if other people were thinking it. Maybe they were afraid to say it, but my cousin said to me, do you ever have nights where you wonder if you're going to wake up or not the next day? And I said, yes. I said, no one's ever asked me that, and I haven't shared it. I shared it with one sister. Is my biological sister. I've shared everything with her, and you just have to have that one person where you could tell everything. And I feel bad that I burden her with that because I know she worries about me. I just have to have that one person other than my doctors that I can tell everything, like, in terms of this whole process and those kind of things. So yeah, I just want to say to those of you that have long COVID, if you're having those nights where you get in that bed and you feel like you can hardly breathe and your body's hurting and you're having all of these crazy symptoms, some of which I probably haven't even mentioned because I'm not remembering right now, it's going to be okay. Whoever, whatever you believe in, reach out to that power, that higher power, and know that it's going to be okay. Either way, it's going to be okay. During COVID, I had gotten to this point where I was just okay to die. When I say during COVID, I mean during the pandemic. because a lot of people were afraid to die, and I just had to look at my life and say, you know what, I did everything that I wanted to do, everything I was supposed to do. The boys are good. I'm okay. Like whatever happens, whatever is going to be, is going to be. But at the same time, I was very, very cautious. So more recently, and no, I don't want to get to more recently. I want to get back to what's called, what do they call them? Like when you have a reset. I think they call it. I'm forgetting. You guys got to forgive me. But there's a thing that happens when you have long COVID where if you overexert yourself, you end up sick again with the symptoms. It's horrible. A relapse. Okay, if you don't pace yourself properly. I learned this from the long COVID specialist, but also my sister. She did some research and found a really good Facebook group, one that she knew that I would like, that has a lot of information. I like a lot of information and data. Okay, storytelling is nice, but I need information and I need data. So, what was I saying now that I lost my train of thought? Somebody help me out. How you gonna help me? I'm here by myself. So anyway, what I learned, yeah, in this long COVID group was this word pacing, and you have to pace yourself. So I was complaining to my ex-husband about this pain, this joint pain, how I couldn't get up the stairs and how I can't do this and I can't do that. And he said, why don't you try CBD? And I was like, yeah, I didn't even think of that. I have used CBD before. Why didn't I think of that? You know why? Because I forgot. I just like, this whole cognitive thing, right? So I just want to let you know that the first time I used CBD while I had long COVID, I thought I was cured. I did loads of laundry. I cooked. I was up and down the stairs, up and down the stairs, and I was just doing everything around the house. And the next day, I couldn't get out of bed. The day after that, the day after that, the day after that, right? It's probably in bed for like maybe 5 days, 7 days. I don't know. I was in bed for like a week. So that happened a couple of times where I would take the CBD and forget you still can't overexert yourself. You still have to be careful. Maybe just do one load. Just wash one load and dry one load and then fold it up and put it away later, like days later when you have energy, right? So that happened a few times before I was like, oh, okay. Now I know my body limits. Now I know, like, really take it easy. Don't overexert myself. So that's good. The good thing about the CBD was that it took the pain away. It took the pain away. The way I like to describe it is it calmed my body. That's how I would describe it to my family and my doctors. It just calmed my body. Now, was I high? No. Did I get the munchies? No. It felt like maybe I had a glass of wine, but it helped me with the pain. And I'm not advocating any type of drugs for anybody. I'm just letting you all know my experience. So now that I'm on the topic of medications, let me just say this. All of the stuff that the doctors were recommending for me in the beginning of long COVID, none of it was working. Okay, it just wasn't working, and I was doing that and the CMOS and the elderberry. I had the doctors talking to me, and then I had people that went into natural health talking to me, and it wasn't working. Okay, just months of just wanting to be in the emergency room. I stopped feeling like I needed to be in the emergency room. Probably let's see, we're in August, maybe the end of June, July. It's like, well, hey, I haven't thought about the emergency room in a minute. So it was just really good when the CBD took the pain away. That was just really, and quieted my body so that my breathing was better. The nebulizer didn't work. The inhalers didn't work. Pulmonologist said to me, you know why they're not working? Because you don't have asthma. I see you're in distress. I see you're having difficulty breathing. We heard you coughing and carrying on during your breathing test. You could barely get through it. But that stuff's not going to work for you. So, okay, so I just stopped taking all of that. And that's why sometimes I would just end up in the emergency room. And what would they do? They would just give me a treatment. So much to be learned about long COVID. Um, so the supplements that I'm on right now, maybe that's why I'm feeling better since because I started those supplements, and so like I said, like around the end of June, I started not thinking about the emergency room. I was on like 2,000. I'm on 2,000 milligrams, and I started back then 2,000 milligrams of vitamin C, and then I'm taking zinc. And if I don't tell you the milligrams, that means I can't remember. And quercetin, curcumin, um, vitamin D. Yeah, because I had to take thousands and thousands of prescribed vitamin D, and then after that, just continue on with the whatever it is. You know, I can't remember the milligrams of everything. Okay, but anyway, I'm still on the vitamin D in addition to the three blood pressure medications, and then they wanted my long COVID specialist also wanted to make sure I was taking vitamin B12, and I'm sure I'm not remembering all of my medications right now, but that's pretty much what I'm taking, and I think it's the supplements, and time that may have me feeling the way I am right now. Because there was a time when I could barely breathe and the coughing was just nonstop. If I didn't have like 5 cough drops in my mouth, 3 to 5 cough, and I was sleeping with cough drops in my mouth because I just wanted to get some sleep. I just wanted to have some relief. But after my parents asked me not to do that, I stopped doing that. I just coughed through the night. So I'm sharing my story because tonight I went on the internet to, on YouTube to Google, life stories about long COVID. And I really wasn't seeing anyone that was putting it out there. I'm seeing things, television broadcasts where they're interviewing people and things like that. But I wasn't seeing what I was looking for. I did find one athlete that was good. He was good in terms of sharing some information. But I said, you know what, let me share some information and let people know about this process, about my process. I don't know, maybe it might help someone. I don't know, maybe it might move you to, follow up with your doctor. Maybe you have any symptoms or things going on with you and you're not sure what it is and this and that. Mm. So cognitively, my biggest struggle for some reason seems to be numbers, dates, perception of time. It's crazy. It's like, I'm scheduled to be somewhere at a certain time and I'm thinking that's days away, but it's today. That kind of thing. Just a lot of confusion. Just even driving around in town locally. My long COVID specialist asked me to drive every day. Driving is nerve wracking for me for a number of reasons. When you're having difficulty with concentration and remembering things and this and that, it's not a good feeling. So local driving, okay, I'll do that. If it's something really close, like the farmers market, because I'm I guess you can call me a vegan that's a pescatarian. I eat a lot of fruits and vegetables, and I like them ripe when I buy them. So the farmers market is good for that. And local doctors. But like I said, if it's far away, or if I'm not feeling good, I got to do an Uber, or have somebody, ask somebody to please drive me. And sometimes I want somebody to be with me to help me to get all of the information because I've always taken notes in all of my doctor's visits and done research after I leave. But I'm not getting all of the information the way I used to. So this is why I said, you know what, I have always wanted to share various aspects of my life on YouTube. And so here we are, right? So today, is a day where I'm just tired, as long COVID people are. Sometimes I hear myself wheeze. Now that's the other thing about this wheezing thing. Like I can hear it. I can hear this wheezing, right? Go to the doctor's office, they're not hearing it. So I don't know if it's the heightened hearing or what, but I know that there are times when I wheeze. Um, so wheezing today, but I did get to go outside today on the patio and send off some thank you cards to relatives. Um, and get those ready to be sent out. And then I drove over to the post office, local, and put those in the mailbox. And it's not easy, y'all. It's not easy. But for those of you that have it, hang in there, bask in the good memories of what you did before, instead of being on the other side of it, which is, I can't do this, I can't do that, I gained weight, and this and that. Like, stay on the other side, the light side of it. Stay in the light and focus on those good memories. And something that my sister-in-law, who used to be my sister-in-law, said to me, you can still do things, you just have to do them slower, right? So if I thought I was smelling the roses before, I'm really smelling the roses now, because in doing things slowly, I get to really appreciate them that more immensely and really, really get to be in the moment. So there are so many more things that I want to say to you guys and share with you. And, I might start recording myself as I'm doing different things. But my energy is just like so depleted right now, from doing this video. So I need to stop. I need to listen to my body, and I need to stop. But I want to, wish you all good health. And like I said to my long COVID family, hang in there. Hang in there. I believe it's going to be all right. All right. Much love to you all. Good night.